Christian parenting.
Welcome to Pardon the Mess. I'm your host, Courtney DeFeo, and on this podcast, we talk about raising kids as Christian parents. It's so very important for me to honor God with my family and the 2 kids that He's given me. But honestly, it's not always neat or easy or tidy, but it's always worth it. So join us every week to laugh and learn together on this beautiful and messy journey of parenting. I'm thrilled to tell you about a new movie coming out on November 8th called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Based on the beloved bestseller, this hilarious and heartwarming film follows the infamous Herdman kids, the worst kids in town, who hijack the annual Christmas pageant. But as chaos unfolds, they just might teach everyone the true meaning of Christmas. This is from the director of The Chosen, Dallas Jenkins, who's actually our guest today on Pardon the Mess. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever is the perfect movie for families to enjoy together this Christmas season. Don't miss it. Exclusively in theaters starting November 8th. Get your tickets now at bestchristmaspageantever.movie. Guys, I really do love Christmas. So, true confession, as soon as November hits, we are getting the decorations out, and it's gotten earlier and earlier every year. Poor Thanksgiving. I feel like Thanksgiving just gets skipped right over. But our house, the decorations start going up. We start playing pentatonics, and it's just an exciting time. But I also get a little angsty about gifts, and I either do it super early or I wait till the last minute. And so this year I've made myself say, I'm going to sit down and just think about it for a second, because there's nothing like a thoughtful gift. And so I'm going to make a list, hold me to it, of my family, and start thinking what would be meaningful for the people in my life. And I also would like to make a motion that no more gifts for me and Ron. No more gifts for adult people. Like, we've all got what we need. We don't need to do a gift. Or maybe like a swap. Y'all give me ideas. How do you do gifts with your family? Like your extended family, your in-laws? Like, can we just trade names or just halt and just all give a donation somewhere? I just am over it for adults, and I'm having a cranky attitude. I'm so sorry. But if you need ideas and you've got family you need to buy for, or little kids, your own kids, this is a great thing to send to the grandparents for sure. But we've got a guide over at christianparenting.org/Christmas, and it is free, a free Christmas guide. And it really just brainstorms all different stages, from kids, parents, grandparents, friends, every age, stage, and interest. And it's really a list of faith-based products and experiences all in one place. And so send that to someone in your family. Maybe get on there and think of some ideas for your kids to make some of these gifts meaningful this year. So go to christianparenting.org/Christmas to get your free Christmas guide today. Okay, so about today's episode, how it came about. This is part 2. Part 1 is over at Heather's podcast called Don't Mom Alone, and she launched that on Monday, and it's talking about raising boys and girls, and she does the early years. Like, what was it like to have toddlers? Because she had all boys, I have all girls, and there's just distinct differences. And it's not to generalize or stereotype everyone, because you probably have different personalities that play into it too. But we just got tickled the other day talking about the difference and what our homes looked like. And so go on over there if you've got littles, or if you don't have littles, you may get a giggle out of some of the things that we talk about. And we try to get practical with the ideas as well. And then today we're doing raising boys versus girls, the later years, the dating years. And this is how this came about. So I was just watching society going, why are people not dating anymore? Like, what is going on? And not to say it's bad or good, like my kids are being protected from great heartbreak, but I did want them to have practice of being with the other gender and hanging out. And so I was ranting about that on social media, as I do, and Heather slid into my DMs, and we were great friends, and we started talking about what is going on, and does social media play a part, and all the different theories we have on why it feels different than when we were growing up. And so I said, we got to record this because we both are passionate about it. And again, she brings a boy perspective and I bring a girl. So she comes up with some phenomenal ideas. And we're also a little cranky and judgy because we're coming off of homecoming, and there's tremendous drama and pressure. I don't know if it's just Texas, but there's pressure on the guys. There's angst on the girls, there's tears, there's manipulating, there's aggression. There is so much more than needs to be. It's like, can we just dumb this down? Can we bring the mums back down to the size of a quarter? Can we bring the proposals back down to normal, like a piece of candy and not a poster and all that stuff? So we rant about all of it, but she really does give some great ideas. So if you have elementary or middle school, like how can you begin having conversations with your girls about just what it's like to interact with boys and what is helpful and not helpful on social media? And then same for the boys. I want great empathy to rise in both of us, because instead of just only seeing where my girls are heartbroken and they get mistreated by a boy, I want to see the other side and say, how can I help my girls treat boys with dignity, not run over them and not boss them around, and treat them like a person too? And so the one thing that stood out to me that I have not let go of is she said that guys often feel used. So around homecoming or dating, they just know they're going to be in a photo. They're like a prop. And that breaks my heart. Like, these guys want to be known too, just as much as my girls want to be seen and sought after and felt worthy and beautiful. These guys want to see that girls are actually interested in conversation and who they are. So enjoy my precious friend Heather. She has phenomenal advice, and let us know what you think. I think this is a big topic for our teens these days, but enjoy part 2 of Raising Boys versus Girls, the Teenage Years. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, hey.
I've got balloons, a pink and a blue, like we're doing some sort of gender reveal, but part 2, welcome back. Hey, tell us about your shirt real quick. They can't see it, but it's real cute. What's going on over there?
It's like I crocheted it, but I didn't. It's Free People, and I got it at an antique mall.
You know what my antique mall has? Baby doll heads. Like, they don't have a crocheted Free People.
This was near Gun Barrel City, Maybank, near Cedar Creek Lake. You got to go out, people.
I thought you were going to be in Dallas. I'm like, of course Dallas has. Like, here's my old Louis Vuitton.
This is legit. Yeah. You gotta go
the other thing I needed to tell you is I need a haircut so bad. I'm like, who are you trying to be? Like Shania Twain over here? Like, I don't know. Like, I've got to cut my hair.
Or you, Shania Twain? You look gorgeous.
You're sweet. I got to cut it off. And it's also turned red. If you're a brunette and you're going gray, it's this weird line between, like, I'm going to have red hair or blue hair, and I just want to have brown hair. Like, why can't I
didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, so I have grays coming in, like, and so I get it highlighted or the roots touched up. And I texted my girl yesterday. I was like, I love you and you're so good at your job, but why is my hair red? Like, not that I don't love red hair. It's beautiful. I just am used to being like a hardcore brunette, if you know what I mean.
It's just different. It's a change. And I would say the length works for you, because that whole Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, they all have long, long hair. This is
are those real? Or are those extensions?
Oh, that's a good question.
I bet they're extensions. Also, do you have droopy eyelids? Because I
probably
do. I put one of those stickers. Have you seen that infomercial when they're like, if you put the sticker on your eyelid, it'll fix that? I have one on here. I wish you could see. There's one, because this one's like.
Wait, it's on right now?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh, I cannot see.
And now they're both like.
Riverside.
Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome to middle age. I'm also sweating profusely through my armpits. So welcome back. Okay. This is the conversation. If you did miss part 1, go back. We're talking about the difference between boys and girls. And Heather has a house full of boys. I have 2 girls. And so we've had offline conversations about this over the years. And my big push today is that we just be more empathetic. And I'm quick to be like, well, the boys, it's like, no, the boys are awesome and the girls are awesome. And so having each of them in your home, you have a different perspective. And I think that has been my quest, to not go off and be like, I'm so annoyed with the boys. And it's like, this is what's going on their side. This is what's going on behind the lives of the boys. Here's what they're dealing with. And so hopefully we'll have some empathy stirring up today as we talk about boys and girls. And so let's start with dating. I put this on my Instagram and people went crazy. Why is no one dating? Is this true in your world? Like, why is no one dating?
Can I just be honest about the whole problem?
Yeah. It's the girls.
No, I think it's social media.
Okay, fair.
Can we blame social media?
We can blame social media.
It's kind of like the teething of toddlers. Like, oh, why are they so cranky? Teething.
Yeah.
Why is this a problem? Social media.
Yeah, if I was in a bad mood, I'm like, sorry, she's teething. Sorry.
Yeah. I think some of the dating, if you go back to why is no one dating, I will tell you a story. Now, I don't think it'll get me in trouble, but because it's very tricky when your people are old enough they could listen to your show.
Right.
And
let's call him Carl.
Them.
My friend's son, Carl.
No, it was one of my boys, and he's new to a school, and his previous school is all boys, and so he transferred to a school that's boys and girls. And this year the school removed phones, like they go in a pouch,
Amazing.
which is great. Which means during lunch he got in a conversation with a girl,
Okay.
and he and the girl realized they both like movies.
Okay.
And when he said, "What are your favorite movies?" she literally listed off some of his favorite, and he's like
Aw.
movie, but I mean, he's not just what's popular right now. I mean, he goes back into the archives. He has real good movies. So he and she are like, "Oh, there's this movie out. I really like to see it." Yes, me too. Really want to see it. Let's go meet up there. They meet up at the movie. He might have bought the ticket just so they could sit, because seats are assigned now.
Yeah.
You can't just like both buy a ticket. You
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
not. But it wasn't like this is a date. They went to a movie together. Everyone lost their mind.
Yeah. And the girl is probably like, I have been waiting to be asked out. I'm so excited, and probably posted it, right?
I don't know if she posted it. I don't
But
even
it's
know
like
if
they're
that's
dating.
it could be Snapchat map. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That in itself, if you're in the same location, it's just the two of you, you're on a date. I'm just saying they are on hypervigilance. Everyone is watching all the time. And I think in the community y'all are in, with smaller, I
Yeah.
think in the smaller school communities, people care a bit too much.
Yeah.
If you talk a little bit too long to someone of the opposite gender, oh, they must be
Correct.
dating.
Well, one
So
of
I
the
do think
moms
there's that
said,
piece versus a public school. I think you're going to have it at small
I
Christian
think
school.
you're right. I think they, like at our smaller school, they notice when so and so's walking with so and so from class to class.
Yep.
Then they will snap it and put it up and like be like, kind of like look at who's talking. And so you're right. I think girls and boys are shy to even try to talk to each other because it's
Why
like,
would I take a risk? Because it's going to cause this whole, and that's one thing to think about if you're the mom of the girl. This is a risk a boy is taking
right.
beyond just their own, like, she might say no risk. That's
Right.
what the
Which is
olden
real too.
days, rejection risk is the olden days. Like, I could ask this girl, I could make myself vulnerable, say, I want to go get dinner together, and risk being rejected. No, this is beyond that. This is risking a public announcement of
Wow.
intention that is beyond what it maybe is. Like, how are we going to even see if we have something to talk about when we go to dinner? What if we go to dinner and we just stare at our soup and it's like, well, this was a dud?
We just came off, and we'll talk at home about homecoming because it's a whole thing.
Mm.
But we just came off of that before this aired, and one of the things I was noticing was like, because my girls haven't really dated, and we really say 16. I don't know what your dating rules are, but like until you can drive, you can go hang out with guys, but we're not like dating until somebody can come pick you up. But they have not, they've been at a Christian school, they've been put at different tables. And in middle school, it's like, don't talk, like boys on one side, girls on the other. So my girls don't have any experience just chatting. So it's this huge deal when someone even just speaks to them that they're like, they start getting their hopes up, like, does he like me? And so I think I called my middle school principal and I'm like, we got to change stuff. And he's like, what? And I'm like, seriously, they have got to get in the same circle as friends and learn how to speak to someone
Yeah.
without it. I'm like, what? They're not going to be making out at the middle school lunch table. Like, why are we keeping them apart? I don't understand it.
Well,
So they
and
get
I
to high school and it's
yeah.
awkward city.
Anyway, I just think there is that dynamic of the private school thing and a small school, and then you throw in social media pressures on top of it. And
Do
I
you think
that
public school do you think public school dating is down too?
I just don't think, I don't know if it's down, but I think they care less because there's just too many groups to really, maybe within your group, they pay attention. Even my son's like Catholic all boys school, I don't know that there's that big a deal. The girls go to a different school. If you're dating, whatever, it's kind of like not as big a deal.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, like back in the day, back in the dark ages when we didn't have phones and when you had to hide with the phone in your room with a cord, like the light would light up and I would be talking to a boy and my dad's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing under the pillow. But like there was nothing going on at my house, like nothing fun. There was no phone, there was no activities. So like I couldn't wait to leave and everybody wanted to leave. So it was like, and I think that's why I know people are struggling more at college because it's like, they're living a fat life at home. I'm like basically running a full time. I'm like their administrative assistant. I'm like, they've got like a driver, a door dasher. But I do think that's an impact to say, like, if you already get what you need from a phone as far as communication and I don't know, love. Some of those like
Entertainment.
conversations
Yeah.
get intimate so quick that you're like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting that they're not motivated because a guy's like, hey, I'm having a blast here. There's no drama here with me. Like I got things to do. Like why throw a girl into that mix?
And I would just say what I've watched with my boys and where they have gone to school in middle school is I feel like that school does it really well in the season when they actually start getting interested in the opposite gender. The parents host these socials.
Mm.
I think four times a year, 5 times a year. Like we're about to have one come up. We go to a park. Dads are all hiding. You're in a team. You have to go find the dads and do like a little team building thing. And then you're trying to be the first person to get all the puzzle pieces. It's like a parent orchestrated or like a road rally where you have to find people hidden in different stores and get the next clue to know where to
That
go.
is awesome.
Like really intentional social events where the boys and girls are interacting and just hanging out.
What
There's
grade is
not
that?
this is 7th, and then 8th grade they do more.
Dang it. Can you send me that? Can you send
I'll
me the
send you all
roadmap
the
for
different
that?
ideas, but to me, it's right around the time when they're curious. Every single one of my boys has been curious about the opposite gender right around then. We aren't real strict on the, like, you may not text a girl at 7th grade. We
Yeah.
aren't strict on that. Mainly because we've seen where sometimes that can go
Yeah.
sideways where it's like they're still doing it secretively or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
there's more
That's true.
secret stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels real benign in 7th grade. And I have found it burns them out on the whole relationship thing
True.
real quick at a real young age.
Yeah.
That they're like not too interested until they get into junior year, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
Because it's like having a full on intense girlfriend, boyfriend at freshman, sophomore year, you're not getting married anytime soon. Okay.
That's right.
This is a long, long game. So I don't know. That's been our journey. I also have an idea for people, and maybe you could take this for Larson's age. My son did this with a group of friends, and I thought they did a lot of different fun things. But one was they all showed up to someone's house. They put the guys' names in one bowl, girls' name in another bowl, and you were paired up. And the two of you had to go on like a food date challenge. Like go to In-N-Out Burger and try 2 burgers off their secret menu. Go to this place and get this. And it was a fixed, agenda. Go to this place, do this thing. You're basically having dinner together.
That's
and then
awesome.
come back and it was a party with everybody. So you're not saying like, I love this guy or I love this girl, so I'm going out. But you're getting experience dating.
Wait, I love this. What grade was that?
I felt like that was his sophomore year fall.
Wait, what school? They are crushing it.
No, this was the kids themselves came up with this.
They did?
Yeah, they even they had a gingerbread making contest.
Oh
They
my
all had
God.
like aprons. They got together. They carved pumpkins one time. They
I
had
love
different
this.
activities that they planned. They went ice skating, and it was this whole group. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I loved
okay,
the date
that's
idea.
brilliant.
I thought the date idea was a great way to get experience without
Yes.
taking the risk of, it
And
looks
I
like
think
I really
Ella
like her.
is finally realizing as a senior, and there's less care, like you don't care as a senior. She's
Mhm.
like, these boys are awesome. Like they're hilarious. And I'm like, yes. So
Yeah.
I wish that would happen earlier where it was less of a big deal and everybody's pointing and looking at you. And it's like, can we get to this senior confidence as a freshman
Well,
or sophomore?
and can you not blame them? Because as moms, and this is where I start my TED talk on homecoming, why do we have proposals? Can we hashtag save proposals for marriage?
Look,
what are we going to get to if I'm just saying, like, people who started that, I want their phone number. It was probably a mom in my mind. It was not a child.
No, and it was being cute and creative, but now there's a bucket with monogrammed things on it. There's flowers. And so it keeps growing. It's like the freaking mom.
I'll tell you, don't mom alone. This is how I handled my freshman son's ask. A friend of mine, she sure did do the sign. I just picked it up yesterday. She's an artist, so it looks amazing. I didn't do a thing. He didn't do a thing. Girl doesn't care. She just wants the sign. This mom was like, I've had a daughter. I know that they want to keep the sign. So she put it on the foam board. I'm like, okay, do the things that the girls actually care about. I get it. Again, social media, there's a comparison. And even my freshman boy is seeing everybody's ask on his feed. So he's feeling the pressure. He's like, yeah, that was another reason I couldn't go to sleep for an hour last night. I was thinking about this ask. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Do we go to Capitol Hill? Like, how do we get this motion to like everybody sign a petition and we just stop this? I do feel
Is
like,
it just Dallas? That's the other question.
I don't know. Dallas is out of hand. And so I think and it's funny, like also out of hand, we need to go back to homecoming, but also out of hand is like the senior pictures. And I'm like complaining
Oh,
about it, but who sure did let her get the tan and got her nails done and took, bought 9,000 outfits and like schlepped around like a stylist. I'm like, I complain and then I fund all the things that annoy me. So, so I do think there's that balance with homecoming coming to be like, this is the culture they're in. It's important, but also going like, can we just dial it down a notch? And I do. So let me ask you this. When do you talk to the other moms? Because I think this year has been a dream. The guy that Larson's taking is so chill and so fun. And we've been able to have side conversation to go like, don't worry about that. Like
yeah.
I don't need you coming to the door and asking Ron's permission. Like I get the chivalry in that, but it's like, she's not marrying him. Like, I don't think. So it's like,
I don't think.
I mean, I don't know, but it's like
Well,
that they're
is in your culture, is the dance like the worst part?
meaning
Or is
what?
the dance actually fun? It feels like the photos before with a party
Yes,
before and the
yes.
after party, like that's where it's like we don't even go. The dance is the worst
Well,
part of
I
the whole
will
evening.
say they don't know how to dance. And so one of the things they did at our school at the retreat, which I thought was so fun, is so they had a sophomore, junior, senior retreat. I don't know where the freshmen were, but they didn't make the cut. But they did line dancing and taught them all the same dance. And then they did couple dancing. And so they had more fun, like twirling
Yeah.
and just mixing partners and stuff like that, which is a whole nother drama if somebody didn't ask you to dance. But
Oh,
I do
totally.
think going into homecoming for them to not feel stupid to go, hey, we all learned this dance. Everybody get out here. Or we all know how to swing. Let's all get out here. So that
That's
has
smart.
helped. We are well into the school year, and if you are looking for a little extra support for your kids in their academics, or if your kids are looking for an extra challenge in school, I highly recommend IXL Learning. IXL Learning is an online learning program for kids ages pre-K to 12th grade. It covers math, language arts, science, and social studies. IXL is designed to help them really understand and master topics in a fun way with positive feedback. And the best part is that IXL is so easy for parents. One site gets you all you need, and IXL customizes learning for each child and their needs. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. And IXL offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids are learning to use the program, so you can feel confident that your kids will gain an understanding of the skills they are learning. Make an impact of your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Pardon the Mess listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. You guys, get fired up. There's a movie that is great for kids and families of all ages. It's coming out November 8th, and it's called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It is directed by Dallas Jenkins of The Chosen, and I had him on the podcast recently to talk about how this movie came about and why telling our kids stories really gets to their heart and shows them the gospel in a way that they can understand. This movie is based on the international bestseller, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson. Some of you may have read that book growing up, but it follows 6 siblings in the Herdman family who are considered the worst kids in history. They lie, they steal, they bully, and then they get into the church Christmas pageant they were searching and sneaking in for snacks, and then they ended up winning the lead roles in the town pageant. And you can imagine that doesn't go over well with a town that's been doing this beautiful, wonderful, all buttoned up play for so long. Grace, played by Judy Greer, is directing this performance for the very first time. She and her daughter Beth, played by Molly Bell Wright, and her husband Bob, played by Pete Holmes, are truly in over their heads, especially against a town that really wants the Herdmans to get kicked out. But the play's mischievous stars might unwittingly teach a community the true meaning of Christmas. And that's the goal. Let's get our kids to the movies to see wholesome movies like this that can teach them a heartfelt lesson that's based in gospel truth. So enjoy it. It's called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It's only in theaters starting November 8th. Get your tickets now at bestchristmaspageantever.movie. Let's go ahead and get into the heart. I want you to hear from my heart, like what I've seen. And I think
Yeah,
you can share what
totally.
you've seen to go like, moms. So what I was saying about that other in freshman, sophomore year, there's a big risk. The guy doesn't know if he's going to get denied. They don't know if someone's going. So, and I think it's okay for the moms to kind of talk on the side and be like, there's rumors of this. Would that work out? And we're kind of talking like, it would an ask be okay? Because the worst thing the guy wants to do is show up and be humiliated, you
Ugh.
know? And so then as they've gotten older, like, I'm not working out Ella's ask. Like, she's a senior. So the guy did it on his own. You know, the mom didn't text me. She texted me an hour before and said, hey, P.S., there's an ask going down tonight. I'm like, what? So I do think there's involvement from moms, and I have been over involved and ruined a whole lot of things because I'm trying to manufacture. Like this year, I'm serious. I was wanting every girl in Larson's group because I know the tears and I know the angst about how much they care
The
to be
group.
asked and sought after. So I was trying to fix it all and go behind the scenes and matchmake, and I made it worse. And my heart was right and Larson's heart was right, but we made it worse. And so part of me is going like, hey, you've got this whole group of guys that are like, it's too dramatic. I'm not going to ask anybody. And we've got this whole group of girls dying. I'm like, can we just matchmake them together? Like, I wanted to fix it so bad, and I truly did make it worse. But I, from a mom's perspective, would say you've got girls that I have taught their whole lives that your identity is in Christ, and you do not need a guy to make you someone or whole, but they want it. They want it so bad, and they
Tell
want
me
to
why.
be.
Tell me why they want it.
They want, the only thing I can liken it to, and this is again a general stereotype, but like say you were on the sports sidelines your whole life and you never got put in the game, like never got asked to be on the team. You just practice with everybody. And they just feel like there's like value that you are worthy enough, you are beautiful enough, which is a God issue. But you don't want to discount those feelings. It's almost like, you know, our kid coming out and being bullied at lunch and no one sat with them and they're crying. And you're like, well, you're made in the image of God. True. But being left alone at the lunchroom table feels crummy. And so for a girl who really wants to be, their beauty is something that and we all deal with this. Like I even have moments of a 48-year-old going like, am I worthy? Am I beautiful enough? Am I chosen? Which God can answer all that. But as a senior and as a sophomore, it sure does feel nice for some person to choose you, to not be talked into taking you, to not feel bad and take you, to be like, I see her. I think she's lovely. I think she's kind. And I would want to spend more time with her. And so over time, I think maybe it's more of a small, and you can go with friends. They actually have more fun with friends. It's like we make this whole thing, and like your boys probably have more fun with their 5 friends in the middle of a dance party, and my girls too. But does that give you context to like it is a bigger deal to them? And on my side, I am trying to downplay, going, this is not. Like you don't want their heart to break, and it's weird. It's weird. You're encouraging
Well,
them.
I'm just trying to figure out like they want to go, but they're okay if you orchestrate it. That feels the opposite.
Yeah,
because if you orchestrate it, then it's like the boy didn't actually.
True.
Do it
very,
because
very true.
he sees.
Absolutely.
To me, it's going back to the social media. I can't show up and not have a date because then I look bad. Like it's less about like
that's fair.
The actual experience of I am desired and wanted and chosen. And
or do like, I want to be seen
as desired and chosen and loved? Like
okay,
to
that's
me,
a good
that
question.
feels like the actual pressure that is actually being put on boys is to give the appearance of a story that girls are having instead of them actually having experience, because I'm at these things and the girls are like ignoring I know it's not about the relationships. It is about the appearance of the relationship. It's true of us.
Do they kind of feel used?
Yeah. I think they're used. I'm like, I think it's used. And I see it with the moms. I'm like, where's the actual experience of relationship? Not we have to give this appearance like I've created a person who's done the right things and taken the right steps. It's like, anyway, that's what it can feel like.
Let's talk about, and I've heard this a lot, and I bounced into this week of like, the girls are aggressive, which I don't disagree. And I'm trying to raise girls that are not aggressive. On my part, what I'm trying to do on my end is lots of things, but I'm trying to set them up well to wear something appropriate. And to, like, I have a rule that you can't have a shortcut, tight, and low cut and backless. Like, if you're going to push it in one area.
I feel like that. Yeah. I mean, I've kind of let that one go because I've just heard from so many moms of girls how hard it is to even find the dresses.
It is. It is.
And I go back to my friend Nardos, who's this amazing designer of gorgeous ball gowns. Like, she's been in Fashion Week in New York.
Yeah.
When her daughter showed up to Cotillion, 8th grade year, every week it was another dress she designed that was not just modest, but like gorgeous.
Wow.
And I thought, can you not create a line of clothes for these sweet girls? They'd buy them. The moms would buy
Correct.
the
Correct.
moms would buy them because I do think the girls want to be beautiful. I don't think
Well, I
they're
do
not
think
wanting to
those are
be
two
like,
battling things in their heart that as mom of 2 girls, I'm getting it. It's sisters are
mhm,
hard, you know what I mean? Because we're
yeah,
comparing all the things.
yeah,
But you're battling a lack of confidence because I'm not chosen, and then you're battling a lack of confidence because I don't feel good in my dress. And so
yes,
as a mom, that's where it gets to the tipping point because you're like, if I can just fix any of these things, I'll buy you the most expensive dress. And that is a hard line. And I will be honest, like I've gone over too far to make it. But this year it all worked out beautifully. And they've got great dates that are kind and that want to go with them. And it's great. But it is a gut wrenching one of those things where it's like, was it hard physically when they were little? Yes. Is it emotionally hard? Like your heart breaks for
yeah,
even your boy. Like if your boy's
no,
never say he
yeah.
got denied 3 times, his heart breaks.
I definitely think my boys are addicted to video games
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
because, and I don't think that's very going to be real good for their wives someday. I'm so sorry, future wives. But I think that some of it is like a space where they can feel more in control and
Yeah,
successful.
yeah.
And I also think they get too much credit in a girl's mind
Mm,
as if they're thinking about girl
yes,
things.
yes.
They're sitting at the table and the amount of conversations about girls, probably 0.02%.
And you know how many are
It's
going on in our house? All the time. They are
it's
overthinking
it's
and
sports,
analyzing
it's video
every
games, it's terrible jokes that I'm like, I live in a frat house. I literally cried the other night and told them how miserable my life is because of the conversations I have to listen to all the time and that they have no idea what it is like for me. And they all just like like stared
It's
like
hilarious.
in
Do you
response.
remember that dating quote that was like, I forget what book it was years ago, that was like, he's not thinking badly of you, he's just not thinking of you, which is like the
I can
reality. And
attest.
it's like they're taking it personally. And it's like my my friend Blake was watching me and Kelly talk, my high school or college roommate, and he was watching us ping pong, just like we're doing right now. And he goes, wow, you have a lot of thoughts. He goes, you know what's right here to here between my, and this pointing to his brain, between here and here? Nothing. Nothing is going on between.
Yeah.
So I do think that's real. Hey, let me ask you another
But
question.
I
So,
mean, let me just say with the boys talking about girls, I'm not saying that my boys aren't ever talking about girls because their hearts break. I mean, girls have broken their hearts. It's not like
mm,
girls need to be aware that their words, their actions, they do have impact. There can be some real extreme cases where we do talk about girls and it's real hard. And it's not like they're just walking around only caring about sports. But I think just to recognize that their words and actions have
I think
impact.
that's a great practical point because when they first got their phones, there was contract, there was training, there was like, if you're going to use this to harm someone, if you're going to not pick up when I'm trying to call, it's the whole point of phone. So I think that would be a great takeaway for all of us, boys and girls, to circle back and what, just like you would say, you cannot ask a girl for a photo and that's illegal. And the
Yeah.
girls, you cannot send a photo of yourself in your bra or nothing on. Like that's so there's lots of, I think, part two phone conversations with social media to go like, hey, this is also the kind way we treat guys, even if you're not
Yeah.
into them. We're not going to unfollow when they show their face. Like that's these are great examples of conversations we can have. Another, let me ask you this. So one thought my girls had is they feel like they're not cool. So they're not, in some circles, they're not drinking or making out.
Mm,
And they've wondered, like, is that a reason? Like, is that a reason?
mm,
And not to say your boys are just out there to hook up, but like that is kind of what a teenage boy is like
yeah.
sometimes looking for. So they've wondered, like, if they're like, nah, they're not going to be cool enough or party enough, which is a
This is what I would tell them. The boy that they want to be with, that is not his desire.
okay. That's good.
I think that because I've seen a whole gamut of boys, and I'm not going to lie and say, "Oh no, boys don't care about that." I think that they do, but I also know a lot of boys who want to have really great conversations.
Yeah.
And what I've seen, and actually like where I've seen relationships my boys have kind of hit a wall, is they get in these relationships and the girl is precious and godly and amazing and has nothing to talk about.
Hmm. Which is the freaking phones. Back to
No, she's just been so sheltered. It's like She doesn't know about the news. She doesn't know about
Oh,
books. She doesn't know about like interesting movies or like deeper conversations. And
wow.
so if you do have that girl, like expand her mind and have at the dinner table, like don't talk about boys tonight. Pull up a news article and
Oh, that's a
discuss
great
it.
idea.
Like expand her ability to have interesting conversations because the boys that you're going to want her to connect with are going to be boys who that's what they're looking for.
Right. Right.
And I know the girls are out there, like girls with minds who want to have interesting conversations are out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
I
yeah.
love that. Can we go back to the aggression? So what it's played out like in my circle is the boys are either, and this is generally speaking, either not interested in making all the plans or overwhelmed because they've got a swarm of bees of girls circling them at the lunch table going, where are we going to dinner? What times are the pictures? And the girls want security. They want to know like what's
Mhm.
happening. And the boys are like, I don't care. But it's there ultimately, we would say, let the boys lead, like let the boys
Mhm.
lead. And then someone like my Lars, who could be literally a CEO, is like, I'll get this thing together. I'll have a plan by 1 o'clock, like, and y'all don't have to worry about it. And in her mind, she's helping, but it can come across as like, I'm just taking over if y'all aren't going to step up. But I don't think that's the guy's desire. It's like they want to lead, but they're being bossed a little bit by some bigger personalities. Is that fair to say?
Mhm.
The end. The
I
end.
think, okay, imagine your friend that you're meeting up with for dinner. You and me, girlfriend, girls' night out. Where should we go to dinner? There's going to be one person who cares more than the other person.
Yeah.
And probably the person who cares more is going to be the one who makes the plan,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, and picks the place. Um, I'm in one of the many homecoming situations of this fall.
Yeah.
Like, how do I end up? I always end up in like at least 3
Yeah.
homecomings. Um, the one mom who's hosting the pre-dance dinner, she created a group chat with just the moms of the boys.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, and I was like, "Huh, I wonder why." She just said, "In my experience as the mom of a daughter, the girls can sometimes take over the planning."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, "Okay, well, that's kinda interesting, like, let's come up with the plan." And then in another group one of my boys is in, the moms of boys came up with the plan and sent out the email, and these are all the details, and this is what's happening.
Yeah. I love
So
that.
that
I
might be a
think
way
from
to
a
kinda
girl's
work around it.
standpoint, this is what's happening in my house, or I've seen with the girls. There is uncertainty about, will I get asked? Will I go with friends? And not knowing what's coming. And typically they're way ahead because the mom order is due. And these are Texas things, guys. Like these mom and garters are a whole Texas thing, but the mom orders are due. So you got to know who you're going with. And then the guys are like, I mean, our homecoming is like when we're recording this, it's Saturday. And there's a couple guys that are just like showing up with their posters. And it's like, where were you weeks ago? But they weren't ready. And so I think they're feeling like, will we have a plan? Should we go to dinner with them? Like, should we invite that friend? And they're trying to sort it all out, which can be bulldozer. And so I think that's amazing if there's a plan made by the guys and it's just get it out. There's no debate. Like we're
Mhm.
asking you to dinner. You don't get to weigh in on if you think hibachi smells. Like we're asking you, which by the way, hibachi smells. The girls are like, please no. If it's like, we've done our hair, we don't want our hair to smell.
Oh
But I
my
think
gosh, I
that would
hadn't
be
thought about
super
that. That's
helpful
good.
to
That's
just
a good
say,
detail.
we have made a choice. And if the boys are like, or give them a deadline, because they're just like, I don't feel like the drama. I don't want to debate with girls on where the pictures are. This is the plan. We've invited you. See you there, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
no,
think would help. But
I've seen that. I've seen like whole groups go into disarray because of a opinions gone awry between the guys and the girls, and my peacemaker son was like staying way out of it.
yeah, I
Way
get
out of
it.
it, but it's chaos. But yeah, I think all of that makes sense. And what was I gonna say? Oh, shoot, dang. Oh, the having to pick the mums and the commitment. Also, the other thing that I've seen crazy is the bus. Do you have a bus?
No, thank God, no bus.
That to me, like one of my sons can't be with his friends because he didn't get a date till later and the bus is full.
And let's talk about the cost. Like, are you taking out a mortgage for my daughter's homecoming? I mean, you
Oh
got
my
the
gosh.
tickets, the
I've
mom.
just decided like the cost, it's just built into this whole experience. I don't even look at the price tags anymore
Maybe we
because it's
help you
just
out
like
later and we'll pay for the wedding. But that is,
I just can't even I don't even try to like compare or contrast that piece because I don't my boys aren't getting spray tans, they're not getting their hair done, they're not.
yeah, yeah. All right, couple tips before we close. What kinds of conversations are you having with your boys turning men about dating and females in general? Like super practical. Is it like, because I think this is also a challenge for them. It's like, hold the door. And then some girls like, don't hold the door. I'll hold my own door. And you're like, what? Like, it's so
Oh,
typical,
man.
what
I mean,
conversation?
there's a part of, like, to me, you can train all the things, and who knows what actually sticks.
True,
You can model all the things, and who
true,
knows what actually sticks.
true.
My husband does the dishes every single night after dinner. He does all of the laundry. Are my boys doing dishes and laundry? Heck no. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So we could model those things. I think what I found was really fun to watch with some of mine was when they did start exclusively dating a girl, the planning the dates was so precious. Like they
Mm,
really enjoyed thinking through where they wanted to take her, what they wanted to do, like, and real creative dates. And even said, like, that to me is the most, like, it's so fun to think of places she's never been or like what you could do that would be fun together. So I think that's just the treating people special in general. And then um, how that
yeah,
fits into dating. I think when they're of that age and they're ready. Again, I think, yeah, driving, your
yeah,
ability to pay for things because you have a job, those are
yeah,
2 mile markers in our neck of the
yeah,
woods of when you can actually have a quote unquote girlfriend. But
yeah.
the
They,
other lesson
a
we've
girl,
learned is if a brother or a parent has some red flags about someone, they've known you the longest
yeah,
and that possibly you should weigh their thoughts
yeah.
as a little bit that matters.
I
We've learned
love
that
that.
lesson.
A boy that I love at our school, we've is the mom and I are really good friends. So they happened to go together their freshman year. And she she was like, these are the things I'm talking about. She said to him, okay, so Larson's gonna get cold. Okay. So she has on a little dress and you have on a suit and you're gonna need to take your coat off and offer it to her. And he goes, why? What if I'm cold? She's like, son, take your jacket off. And then she said, now also, when you take your picture, I want you to put a flat hand, not a fist, a flat hand. Like all these little things that are like, this is new for them. You know what I mean?
And I wouldn't even honestly think to say it because I'm not very self-aware. I'm not even aware to know what to say.
But
So
y'all
I'm so
are,
sorry. I feel like again, it's like if they're gonna do it, that's awesome. If it's forced, I don't know. Like
that's true. That's true. And my girls,
you're just
what
not
I'm
gonna have a
watching,
girlfriend.
again, they both really haven't dated, but I'm working on who they are. I'm working on their confidence. I'm praying like crazy for them that they'll just keep I don't know, finding joy in the Lord and not just looking for out of because I did. I looked out of desperation for boys in high school and college as thinking this will fill the God sized hole in my heart. And it never did. And
Yeah.
so I don't think their desire is wrong. And I don't want to poo poo it to say that's in you to want to be sought after and loved and beloved and cared for and protected. Like that's so natural. But some of the things I'm seeing is trying to help my kids, my girls, not rush ahead and go like, don't
Yeah.
read into it. Just enjoy being his friend. Is
Yeah.
he someone you would want to hang out with? So I think that's on me. And what I'm seeing is how to help that aggression and that assertiveness not steamroll is the only word I keep coming up with and just say, pull him back. Cause I get your excitement. I get that this is a good guy, but how can we pull it back? So, never
Mm.
easy. And my biggest tip would be find a friend like Heather. Like, I think the people with boys and girls in their house have a little bit of an advantage. Boys that have older sisters are like, this ain't no big thing. But those of us that have one gender on each way, like, get around some other families that have the opposite gender, get around some other moms and get perspective. Because whenever I get hurt and defensive and want to stick up for my girls, I have a conversation with Heather and I'm better because I'm like, oh, I didn't think about what these
Mhm.
boys are going through. So that was my hope today is that
Yeah.
we just like listen to each other a little bit better.
Yeah. No,
Any
I
last
think it's
thoughts
really,
on
really, no,
your
I think it's very helpful. And I think it's a really good reminder of what's going on in the girls' hearts and minds. And I feel extreme burden for teenage girls these days
yeah.
because of how we started this conversation, because of the pressures of social media. Um, we kind of joke around the copy paste girls. It just
Yep.
feels like there's a lot of pressure. It used to be you want to fit in, which is the opposite of belonging, according to Brene Brown.
Love it.
Um, you want to fit in by wearing whatever people in your school are wearing. Well, now it's like, what is the world wearing? Like you have to fit
So
in
true.
with this. Everything has to be copy paste. Your dorm room has to be copy paste. There's no originality. There's no differentiation. And I
Mm,
would encourage your daughters, stand out a little bit of differentiation actually is attractive to these
It
boys.
is. Hey, I love you. Will you pray for us? I don't always do that on this podcast, but I feel like you're a prayer warrior. And we just pray for the hearts of our growing teen boys and girls that are trying to figure this out, and both
Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
growing in their confidence and identity.
Lord, we thank you for how you designed humans, that humans would have longing for each other so that we could have more humans, and that this is all built into your structure. And we live in a culture that has sabotaged some of that core longing and capitalized on it. And we pray, Lord, for the hearts and minds of our boys and our girls, that they would be protected as rejections come, as just really painful experiences come and go in their lives. Lord, we pray for those of our kids who are believers in you, that they would be filled with your Spirit, that they would know that they are loved and that they belong ultimately to you and your Trinity, and that any relationship outside of that would be seen as a blessing on top of where their true worth and value comes from. I pray, Lord, for us as moms, that we could guide our people well into that lasting relationship with you, and ultimately, whether they're single, whether they're married, that we would find our own identity and worth in you and not in those storylines. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Love you, friend.
Love you too.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pardon the Mess. As always, we've got more encouragement and resources over at christianparenting.org. And you can also stay connected with us on social media at Pardon the Mess. And if you like this episode, I'd love for you to do two things. Press follow on whatever podcast platform you love, and also be sure to leave a rating so other parents can find us. Remember, you're never alone in this beautiful mess of parenting.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.